Hi, boys and girls. Today, I wanted to explain to you a little bit about what we're going to be working on this year in the first 9 weeks. And I thought it would be kind of nice if we worked on some principles of art and some elements of art. And if we included one of each in each of our lessons or our units, we might understand a little bit more how those two parts of art are put together to create wonderful creations of visual art. Now you can see up here that we're going to be using shapes and we're going to be using unity. Now shapes are elements of art. And you know the shapes. You can see a couple of them here: triangles, rectangles, squares. And sometimes we have organic or free form or natural shapes like fruit and clouds and even paint when it goes to a spatter. And unity is how we take these elements of art and put them together, even if they don't look like they belong together, and create a cohesive a composition that makes sense or doesn't make sense, because there are artists out there who really pride themselves on making art that um, makes you question what they were thinking and what they were doing. So, we're going to be working with shapes and we're going to be working with the unity, that is, joining them together into a composition so that they make sense or they're pleasing to the eye, or that the shapes come together and make more shapes or bigger objects. It's going to be up to you because you are the artist. Now, I was thinking if we're going to deal with things that are not the same but go together, then I thought I would read a little book that I've read to some of you before about two objects that are the same, two shapes that are the same, but are very different in how they look, but they come together in the illustrations as well as in the book. And at the end, they make total sense. So when I show you the book, I think a lot of you will already know what this book is about. Let's make rabbits. It is a book by Leo Leone. Now, Leo Leone was an artist who really didn't get started creating books and illustrations till later in life. Um, I believe one of his very first books, Little Blue and Little Yellow, or Little Yellow and Little Blue, he really created on the subway when he was taking his grandchildren into New York City. So he's an artist who uses lots of different techniques, drawing and painting, but he is a collage artist. And a collage artist is an artist who takes different materials and puts them all together, pastes them together. Now, if you take a whole bunch of different objects and paste them together, it's called mixed media. If you paint and then you paste objects on top of the paint. But if you just paste together objects, it's called a collage. And the reason we call it collage is because collage is a French word that means, you got it, pasting together. So here is our book about two things that look the same, but don't look the same, but that at the end of the book, they go well together. Let's Make Rabbits, a fable by Leo Leone. Good morning, said the scissors to the pencil. What shall we do today? Let's make rabbits, said the pencil. Now, I don't know about you, but I bet the scissors are going to create their artistic rabbit differently than the pencil. So they went to work, and you got it. The pencil drew a rabbit, and out of the scraps of brightly colored paper, the scissors made one too. You see how Leo Leone cut out all the parts of the rabbit, and then he's going to glue them together into one big rabbit. he cut out different shapes that don't look like they go together, but when he puts them together a certain way, it makes a rabbit. He's unifying the shapes. And another artist that does that is Eric Carle. And we'll talk about him in a couple of weeks. Immediately, the two rabbits were the best of friends. You have two rabbits that look the same, but who also look very different because of the patterns and textures or the lack of pattern and texture. I think best friends never have to look the same. You can look entirely different from your very best friend, but you can still be very best friends. How boring would it be if everybody looked the same? Oh, it wasn't very long before the rabbits were very, very hungry. After looking in vain for something to eat, they called the pencil and the scissors. We're hungry. Now, when you look in vain for something, that means you look all over as hard as you can. You use your brain to think, where in the world can I find that? And you look and you look and you look for a long time and you still can't find it. That's what looking in vain means. So, you know how these carrots are going to show up. The pencil drew a carrot, and the scissors cut out the parts or the shapes, and then pasted them together. They were still carrots, they just looked different. The rabbits happily ate their carrots. And then, with their tummies full, they went to sleep. That reminds me of Mr. Walkirk after Thanksgiving dinner when he eats a lot of food and then he lays down on the couch and falls asleep. Just like these rabbits. When they woke up, they were hungry again. And again, they called for the pencil and the scissors. We're hungry. But this time, no one came. The pencils didn't come and the scissors didn't come. And look, this rabbit is even looking off the page. Maybe the carrot's off the page. You know that artist trick where they draw off the page and make you use your brain to fill in the shape of the rabbit and figure out what's going on off the page of the book. That's a great artist trick. Suddenly, they found it. They found a big orange carrot, and it looked juicy and yummy. Hey, said the scissor rabbit, that's a real carrot. Ah, how do you know? Said the pencil rabbit. Well, I'll bet some of you out there know why we know this carrot's real. What do we see at the bottom? A shadow. That means that the carrot is tall and wide, and we can get our hands around it. So it has 3 dimensions, and 3-dimensional objects have shadows. And that's what the scissor rabbit said. It has a shadow. Everyone knows a real carrot has a shadow. Well, said both the rabbits, we don't really care if it's real or not. We are going to eat it. And they did. They ate the juicy orange part and even ate the luscious green part. Wow, they weren't hungry anymore. Look, said the pencil rabbit. Look, we have shadows too. We are real, they both exclaimed, and they happily hopped away. That must have been a magic carrot. Let's make rabbits. Let's make rabbits by Leo Leone. He has lots of really good books, and you might want to look him up in a virtual library and see if you can find a few more books by Leo Leone. Now, I'm going to give you written directions in your seesaw lesson for creating a composition with shapes, and it's going to be your job to unify those shapes into one composition. You can unify them by using the same shapes or by using the same colors. I just want you to use your imagination, and you'll have several different activities that you can choose from. So don't worry if you don't have pencils and paper and, paints or pastels. We'll figure out a way for you to create an artistic composition using shapes and unity, remembering that shapes are elements of art and that unity is one of the principles or rules of art. So I hope you have fun. If you have any questions, you can shoot me an email, and I will see you later in the virtual art room. And I'm very excited to have you share your creations with me. Love you. Miss you. Y'all stay safe.